Hello everybody and welcome to Gene's Reviews from a regular dude here in my car. If you're already subscribed, thank you very much. If you're not subscribed yet, please think about doing so. Make sure you tap that bell icon so you can be notified every single time I upload a new video. Also, give me a thumbs up if you don't mind. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. And if you watch this video all the way till the end, I got a joke at the end of every single video that I do. Don't just skip to the joke. Watch the whole video. Now on with today's video. Hello everybody. I hope you're all doing well tonight. I thought I'd try something new. Well, I've done these types of videos before, but not in a long time. This is from a channel that I really like called Consciousness. And this is called The Secret of the 13 Crystal Skulls of the Apocalypse. Let's check this out.
In the history of mankind, few archaeological discoveries have caused as much commotion as the so-called crystal skulls of the apocalypse. The legends of the indigenous peoples of the Americas tell of 13 rock crystal skulls filled with incredible power that hold ancient wisdom about the origins and destiny of humanity. But they also have a dark side. They carry with them an ominous warning, a prophecy of an apocalypse that could overtake the world. Could these skulls really contain ancient knowledge and hold secrets about the origins of mankind? As colonialism expanded beyond the confines of the New World, America witnessed a new era that became synonymous with terror and suffering for its indigenous peoples. Over time, many were forced to give up their land or integrate with the newcomers. Despite the bloodshed and years of warfare that almost led to the extinction of the indigenous groups, some European explorers managed to gain the trust of the local chiefs. This led to an exchange of knowledge in which some of the elders shed light on the long history of their tribes. They told mythological legends and spoke of the legendary achievements of their ancestors. It quickly became clear to these early listeners that the cultures of indigenous peoples were far more complex than they had ever imagined. Their daily lives were inextricably linked to a complex spiritual belief system that permeated all aspects of their culture. They had a deep knowledge of the earth, of humanity's relationship to the environment, and of our interconnectedness with the cosmos. From this rich tradition came both oral traditions and cryptic prophecies that spoke of a host of events awaiting humanity in the future. But none of them has fascinated researchers and scientists as much as the story of the 13 crystal skulls.
So it's like a crystal ball.
These mysterious artifacts were sculpted with incredible precision by skilled craftsmen thousands of years ago under the watchful eye of wise men. In their crystalline structure, these wise elders embedded esoteric knowledge dedicated to the origin and destiny of mankind. The skulls were then scattered to different parts of the world. Legend holds that if the 13 skulls are ever reunited in the same place, they will reveal secrets vital to the survival of the human species. It is said that one day, in a time of great need, all of the skulls will be rediscovered and reunited to reveal their secrets in hopes of steering humanity in the right direction. In the 20th century, the tireless work of researchers began to shed more light on this legend. In time,
thinking about it, that's kind of morbid. To be carving on skulls and stuff like that? I don't know.
They penetrated the dense forests and jungles of America and made various discoveries that would change the course of history in this part of the world. But none of them sparked such controversy as the crystal skull discovered at a Mayan site in the tropical jungles of the Yucatan in Belize. In 1927, British adventurer and writer Mitchell Hedges and his team burned over 33 hectares of dense forest in the region. After turning the forest and scrubbed to ash, the remains of a huge Maya site, later called Lubantun, or Place of the Fallen Stones, began to emerge from the smoke. Here the team excavated and noted the existence of a huge stone pyramid, city walls, and even an amphitheater that could have held thousands of spectators. The story goes that when Mitchell Hedges returned to Lubantun after 3 years, he took his daughter Anna Mitchell with him. While exploring the ruins of a deep hole or cave-like structure beneath an altar, she was attracted by a shining object. Upon closer inspection, she claims to have discovered a skull created from a single block of pure rock crystal, which she believes was handcrafted by the Maya or Aztecs more than 3,600 years ago. The intricate object, also known as the Mitchell-Hedges crystal skull, is about 5 inches high, 5 inches wide, and 7 inches long. In the early 1970s, it was temporarily cared for by the independent restorer Frank Dorland, who upon examining it stated that it was carved with complete disregard for the natural axis of the crystal and without the use of metal tools. Dorland reports that he was unable to find any traces of scratches except for the marks of mechanical grinding of the teeth, and suggests that it was first carved in rough form, probably using diamonds, and that finer shaping, grinding, and polishing was achieved by the use of sand over a period of 150 to 300 years. According to him, it is possible that the skull is up to 12,000 years old. While in Dorland's care, the mysterious artifact came to the attention of writer Richard Garvin, who was working at an advertising agency at the time, where he ran the Hewlett-Packard advertising account. He thus became the reason the skull was examined at Hewlett-Packard's Crystal Laboratories in Santa Clara, California, where it was subjected to several tests. The labs found only that it was not a composite, as Dorland had suggested, but was made of a single quartz crystal. The test also found that the lower jaw was made of the same crystal as the rest of the skull. Hewlett-Packard did not conduct an investigation into its method of manufacture or dating. The most puzzling question remains: how come all the work was done against the axis of the crystal? If it is acted against, the whole piece should disintegrate. Due to the mysterious nature of the artifact, many are beginning to question whether it is truly ancient or a modern forgery.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
Rumors then began to spread about the authenticity of Hedges' discovery, with some even claiming that Anna did not accompany her father on this expedition at all. Instead, Mitchell Hedges bought the skull at an auction held by Sotheby's in London. However, Anna stuck to her story until her death at the age of 100 in 2007.
Could be a fraud.
Is this really one of the 13 skulls the elders of America are talking about? Or, as some have suggested, is it nothing more than the work of Eugène Bobin, a famous dealer who allegedly sold many fake antiquities in the 19th century? To this day, this remains a mystery. With the discovery of Hedges' skull, other finds of a similar nature began to appear. Several other crystal skulls are said to have been discovered in various parts of Central and South America. 2 of these skulls managed to reach Europe and are said to have been sold by mercenaries from Mexico in the late 19th century. The so-called British skull is preserved in the Museum of Humanity in London and was acquired in 1897. Its French counterpart is currently in the Musée Quai Branly in Paris. 2 more of these artifacts, called the Mayan skull and the amethyst skull, were brought to the United States by a priest in the early 20th century. The amethyst skull is made of purple quartz, while the Mayan skull is completely transparent. However, the 2 skulls are extremely similar in detail. Like the Mitchell-Hedges skull,
that's kind of creepy.
Skulls have also been studied at Hewlett-Packard. And guess what? They were found to be cut against the natural axis of the crystal. But perhaps the most interesting of all is the Max skull, also known as the Texas skull. It was in the possession of the Tibetan healer Norbu Chen, who later passed it on to Carl and Joe Parks as a settlement of a debt between them. Joe kept the skull hidden in his closet for years, where it gathered dust until he learned of the tremendous interest in such artifacts by archaeologists around the world. She then gives it to him for examination, and it turns out that it was crafted in a manner similar to the others previously mentioned. Several more crystal skulls have been discovered, with some researchers suggesting that up to 13 may indeed exist in total, giving reason to believe that the so-called legend of the crystal skulls may be credible. Throughout the 20th century,
it's really
these
interesting.
enigmatic finds remained the subject of lively debate. While some researchers claim that the results of their studies show that they were made with modern technology, others use this as evidence that the ancient groups of the Americas were actually far more capable and advanced than we ever imagined. But it's not just the physical
So I'm taking it that these aren't real skulls. They're just like sculptures and things that people made one time using things like diamonds and rocks and no regular tools. That's what I'm taking from it.
appearance and level of craftsmanship that is drawing the world's attention to these skulls. They are believed to possess unusual powers that lead to extraordinary experiences, from vivid and picturesque dreams to healing illness. In her later years, Anna claimed that at night, when the crystal skull was in her bedroom, she would often dream of ceremonies and rituals performed by the ancient Maya. Another admirer of crystal skulls, Joke van Dieten Maasland, owned a skull made of smoky quartz crystal that was allegedly discovered in 1906 during excavations of a Maya temple in Guatemala. Joke claims the skull has powerful healing abilities and has even helped cure a brain tumor. She shares the whole story in a book titled Messengers of Ancient Wisdom. The so-called Aztec skull, on display at the Museum of Man in London, allegedly moved on its own in its glass case, and museum staff admitted to feeling uncomfortable in its presence. Do these skulls really possess powers that transcend the physical dimension? And if so, is it possible that the legends of wisdom and knowledge embedded in these ancient artifacts contain truth? The fact that the Aztecs believed in 13 levels of heaven and created exquisite crystal ornaments seems to lend additional weight to the theory that crystal skulls do exist and hold mystical wisdom.
Well, they've always said that
return to the
crystals
legend,
have
we will
like
never know
healing
the
powers.
truth. Remember the part where all 13 skulls must come together in one place to reveal the ancient wisdom that will save humanity? Well, it seems after 2012, that's no longer possible. Then, during an experiment in a Saxon laboratory, one of the 13 mysterious skulls is broken. The black skull, which was made of massive volcanic stone, fell to the floor and shattered. A piece of the jaw broke off. Scientist Thomas Ritter says he was worried that the skull seemed to slip out of his hands and fell off by itself. After what happened, he is very upset that he did not preserve the integrity of the relic. However, one thing is certain: these skulls will continue to pique the interest of researchers around the world. However, whether they will be able to reassemble and protect mankind from the coming apocalypse is already quite doubtful. And if we still know nothing about these skulls today, this is not quite the case for the Orkhon inscriptions, which have been solved and turned out to tell the lost history of Eurasia. You can learn more about this amazing...
Well, that's pretty interesting. It's something that I've never really heard of. 13 crystal skulls of the apocalypse. Yeah, they say that crystals have healing powers. So maybe these crystal skulls, maybe there is something to it. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Now it's time for a joke. Why can't you trust the king of the jungle? 'Cause he always be lying.